Okay, so there you are. Now once again, this is really what is demonstrated by the fact that if you don't know the language, you really don't know what's happening, and it gets changed all the time. And you have to try to navigate this confusion as best you can. Now, as somebody very rightly said, they would have, part of their comment was good in that they thought that the drainage should be addressed. Yes, absolutely, the drainage has to be addressed. But their suggestion that they build the house up is not a doable thing. This land is sloping down, and it slopes quite well. Now, because of that, the house is already built up, and built up appreciably. Now, if you're building stuff up, then there's a lot of infill, and the infill costs money. So before you start talking about building things up, you have to address that concern as to practicality. Is it practical? Is it needed? And those kind of things you need to address. Now, if you look from the front of the house, where it seems to be at ground level, and then it's coming down like this, and you'll see that actually it's already built up quite a bit. So that's not about the concrete work. This channel that you can see here is where the water drains off. Now, the plan is for French drains to be taken all in here and taking the water right out. Now, because we've had the concrete work is sloping down towards this house, the rain will come and the water will go off and into our French drains, and they will go all around the house, and they will be deep enough to over allow for the amount of water that will be dropped, because here it is torrential and it is needful of good drainage, right? So at the moment you can see that it's sitting there because that part of the land is too low. So we have extra soil that is still in the garage that will be taken from there, and we'll level this out and we'll do whatever we have to get this concrete work right. Now, this is the problem, is that in the Philippines, the way that they do concrete is not the way that they would do it in the West. In the West, they would have a straight edge at a level that was needed. Now, they put a straight edge here because we couldn't afford to go all down this part here. So they put a straight edge in, and they did the first section in a way that's logical for foreigners, right? So they did this and they put all of this in, and that worked out quite well. But that's when things started to go wrong, because the next part they started to do it piecemeal, and their joins are very noticeable. Now, all of this got messed up because because they mixed the concrete there, then they took it and took it up so that they could concrete that part. Well, you can see the little areas that they did at a time. Here's one little area, and then another join, and then out towards here, and then there's another join, and then there's another different color. However they did that, I really don't know. And then it comes down here, and it gets very rough down here. And when you're looking then out toward the street, all of that even that was done in several parts. The gate's still locked, I'm not going to bother opening it, but you can see there the difference, and it was a disgrace. All of this here they did on another mix, so it's a different colour. This what can I tell you? They apparently did use a straight edge for some of this, and the crack is already there. You can see this is not very much. This was done on a budget. Like I said, any time that I've ever tried to do things and save money, it's always cost more money. And then with whatever was left over so that I could ride my bike up there, Beth asked them to do this, and this is what they did. Now when they were carting, they were trucking with a wheelbarrow from the mixer here, and they trucked it on a messy wheelbarrow and on the new concrete, and this is the result. Now it's a strange thing about the Filipino way of doing things, because what will happen is they will mix a section of concrete, and then when it's all dried, but not really, they'll mix more concrete using that new concrete surface as a place to mix, but then they don't wash it off afterwards, so it gets messy. And whereas in the West, as someone rightly said, couldn't you hire a machine to polish the concrete? Couldn't you do that? And of course, yes, we could do that. See, this is the kind of thing that happens. This is one of my hankies that the dog's stolen for some reason. So that's the other thing, is dogs. And the dogs come and they love to walk on the new concrete. And this is the result here. See, so yes, it's possible that we could have something of a skim coat put on this. We're not going to do that, because most of this is going to be concreted, and then we're going to put down AstroTurf, which will require maintenance, but then if it was grassed over it would require maintenance as well. We're trying to keep it to a minimum. Over here, like this, will be carports for parking, and we'll do it in the style of that there. So it will have nice pillars and shaped arches, which I think look very nice. That's our 5-year project. We expect it's been going now for over a year, so we expect another 4 years of working hard, raising the money, spending on it as we get it, and gradually we'll make up to the part of the stage where you can see it drops off on an edge. We will do this as stage 1, so that hopefully we can get this actually earning some income. It'll take a lot to get this, even though it does look nice. There's a lot of basic stuff that has to go in. Water has to go in, and oh, there's a puppy from next door. That's the thing about the dogs. So all of this sections off along in line with these pillars, and it sections off into balconies for the rooms. And on this side we actually have 4 rooms. I think 4 rooms, and they each have quite a big balcony. This corner room is very nice, but all of these rooms all need to have outlets, plugs like this. The basic is there, but you see, now if you go around and you count just the outlets, just to have the outlets go into hundreds of thousands. Probably there's about 100,000 that we'll have to find, pesos of course, that we'll have to find just for the outlets to go in. And of course electricians have got to be paid, that's the contractor will have to do that. But I didn't want this to be talking about our project, our dream project. Really wanted to just address this. Now when we do the main part of the concrete work, we'll probably try to get that all done at once, and then we can make good all of this, and it won't be a skim coat. A skim coat, you will be talking maybe an inch, but it won't be a skim coat. It will be a lot more than that, and the surface will have to be prepped before that, and we'll do it properly the next time. Of course, it would be nice for us right now, even on this rough finish, to just do up to the stage. The stage was meant to double as a coffee bar and an open air coffee bar, and it will have a little place there where coffee can be produced on site. So we'll run power out there and water, and we used our leftover tiles to get this done with no thought for. We left that to the workers. What I find with the Filipino workers in the province, right? We're talking about being in the province, and the level of artistry is not the same. So they're not so concerned with things like patterns, matching. I'm sure that they could have made some kind of a pattern here, but they've just plunked the spare tiles down, and that's it. So it's all perfectly serviceable, but with no thought for how it looks, which is okay. I'll live with that. As I've said before, it's not a question of complaining about the way that things are done in the Philippines. You can do that. You can come over here and you can actually get things done how you want them, but the pain level is very high, because the existing infrastructure, the existing way of doing things, the culture it's not just a little gap. The culture gap is understated. It was never just a gap. It's more Grand Canyon-esque is how I tend to think of it. Everything is done so different. They operate on a lot of superstition. Now, the thing is that it's easy to discount things and say, oh, well, it's all superstition, you know. I can remember that my mother certainly had lots of superstitions, and none of them, to me, made any sense, but they made sense to her. That's how she looked at it. And I grew up with those. Don't walk under a ladder because it's bad luck. If a black cat crosses your path, you should go home and go to bed because you might get injured. So all of these things, they're just as alive in every country that you go into. So as a foreigner, don't come over here and be so tunnel visioned as to think that where you came from didn't have any of its own superstitions. Beth will not go to bed, she'll not go to sleep with her hair wet. But the other side of that coin is that she never takes a towel to her hair once she's been in the shower. And all of the kids, when we have lots of young kids come over and stay, and the girls are all the same. They go in and they wash their hair, they bathe themselves, and then they don't really dry themselves. So their long hair is down the back of their dress or whatever, and it's wet, and that's okay. But of course, it doesn't make any sense to me. Often, my sarcasm, even though it's gentle sarcasm, and I'll go to Lorraine and I'll say, Lorraine, your hair is soaking wet. And she'll say, yes. And I'll say, you know that there's a modern invention that can handle that? Oh, really? Yes, I said, yes. It's called a towel. It's completely wasted on her. She doesn't get it. Then I have to say, that's a joke. So we're stuck with the way that the concrete is. Now, another suggestion was, can you get one of the ready-mix concrete trucks, and they'll come and they'll put a big hose out that feeds the area. You've got to be well set up to do that. Plus, I don't know that I would trust a big truck to go onto that concrete there. It's even for where I've in reversing to go out, I see now that the edge, of course, is crumbling. So I avoid that, of course. So yes, you could get a concrete truck, and that will be something that we will certainly have to look at when we have a very large area done, which obviously this will be a large area, but it will be done in sections, and it won't be done in the Filipino way. It will be done more like the road workers. The road workers know how to do this very well, but this kind of thing here, which is just horrible. So kind of giving up on trying to make this any better. If you look there, look, there's a join. There's a join there, look. This little part was done in one place, in one piece. It's never going to change. That's going to be as it is, and we will have to go at it in a different way when we do it again. I'll be here. Okay, well, once again, I wish you Merry Christmas, and when it comes, a Happy New Year. And let's hope that all of the bad news that they've been saying will be here all turn out to be changed by divine intervention. So God bless you all, and bye for now.